And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Dragon Farkle. Now, if this name makes you giggle a bit, you are not the only person. Every person I played this with has laughed about the whole Dragon Farkle thing, and just the fact that Farkle gets used as the verb. I farkled, you farkled, we farkled, whatever. Now, Farkle is a very common, popular dice game. It's not really like Yahtzee. Essentially, you roll dice, try to score. It's kind of a push your luck style game. This takes that game and basically adds special cards and a chance to fight other players. Let me show you. Each player is called a wannabe, right? So you're a wannabe dragon killer. You will get a companion that comes with you. These companions, you get a random one that's placed here, are essentially cards that will give you a special ability. So for example here, if I have Tabby, then once when I recruit, I can ignore the dragon side of the event die. So you'll have these. There's also magical items that you will get. And these come in a separate deck, and you'll get one of these. And you'll notice these have actually a lot of text on them, but these can be used at different times. For example, I can use this one here, the Horn of Dragon Calling, play after an opponent's recruiting roll to change the event die result to the dragon's die. So to do things that you can do. Now, let's explain the rules of Farkle first. First, before we do anything else, let's explain how you play Farkle. To play Farkle, you're going to roll 6 dice. You take these dice and you see, have you rolled some sort of combination that will score you something? Here I rolled 3 threes. There are different combinations in Farkle, but getting 3 of something is one of those. So 3 threes you'll see is 300 soldiers. A single die will not get you anything unless it's a single 1 or a 5. So I also rolled a 1, so that's another 100 soldiers. So I can set those 4 dice aside, and I get 300 for the set of 3s, and I get 100 for the 1, so I have 400 soldiers. I don't have these soldiers yet. I can roll again if I so desire, but I need to score with these 2 dice. Now, the only way to score is to get 1s and 5s, but I can try. So let's say I roll. I got a 5. That gives me another 50 soldiers. I can roll this final die again. It's a 6. I can't score with a 6. So then I farkled, and I have nothing, and all these soldiers go away. Let's try another roll just to show you again how it works. So I do my initial roll here. I look, and I say, okay, well, I have 2 1s. Those both score. Nothing else scores. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4. But the scoring combinations, I need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I set these aside. That's 200 soldiers. I roll these 4. I got another 2 1s. That's another 200 soldiers. I roll these 2 again. I scored nothing. So once again, I farkled. Now, you can score really big if you roll really good combos. The best combo is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 3,000. 6 of a kind is 2,500. 3 pairs of 2s is 2,000. 4 of a kind, 1,500. Then you see all your 3 of a kinds, and then 1s and 5s. Now, you can roll as many times as you want until you farkle. But let's say on my first roll, I rolled 4 1s and 2 5s. Those all score. So the 4 1s is 4 of a kind. That's 1,500. These 2 5s are 50 each. So I have 1,600. Now, I can roll again if I so desire. And now I get to roll all 6 dice because I've scored with everything. Ooh, I have 2 1s and a 5. I can score both of those. And again, I can keep going till I farkle. I might not want to farkle, though. So at any point, I can stop and take however many soldiers that I've gotten and basically keep them. Now, in Dragon Farkle, you are also rolling the dragon die. The dragon die has a dragon on one side and axes on the other. When you roll a dragon, any dice that would have scored for you are eaten by the dragon. And that's it. You don't get any point. You don't get any soldiers for that turn. But you don't farkle either. You get to go again. If you roll the axe, either you can double all the points you got for that turn. So let's say I rolled the axe, and then I also rolled this. I'm like, all right, well, I got 2 5s. They're 50 each, so that's 100 times 2 is 200. Or I can draw a treasure card, keeping in mind that players can only ever have 1 treasure card. In Dragon Farkle, on your turn, you can recruit soldiers, which is simply to roll the dice, play Farkle until you get the soldiers you want or until you Farkle out. Or you can go after somebody else. When you go after somebody else, that's called brawling. Essentially, you're going to try to steal soldiers from them. So you roll dice, then they will roll dice, although they get one less than you, and the amount that the higher roll gets, so let's say I got 700 soldiers and you got 500, I would steal 200 from your army, plus an additional 500 who like your glorious battle and come and join you. So you can go after somebody else, but there's always a chance that they can beat you. Finally, when a player has a certain number of soldiers. So let's say a player has been getting soldiers, and so they're going to go fight. You need 5,000 soldiers to fight the dragon. They can fight the dragon. This is done the same way as playing a normal game of Farkle, except here, every time you score, you will lose that many soldiers from your army. And you need to roll a dragon to do a point of damage to the dragon, or you need to roll axes to do 2 points of damage. If you Farkle at any reason, you don't score any points, then you fail the dragon. You have to wait till another turn to fight him again. So you're going to be rolling these dice, trying to score and lose soldiers. Hopefully you have enough soldiers to lose. And roll these, and you keep rolling until you get these. Once that happens, the dragon has been defeated, and whoever has done so wins the game. You can make the dragon harder if you want to by adding more hit points. That's how you play. The first time I ever played Farkle, it was a little game called Greed, I think was the name of it. It came in like a long container and just had dice, and you rolled, and you were trying to roll the same thing. The combos, instead of ones and fives, they had letters and so on and so forth. And then I played Farkle recently. Farkle is a decent game. I can't really find any fault with it. Sure, you can roll the dice and on one turn and you get nothing, or you roll and that's amazing, okay, and you get points. And the game is a silly push your luck game. It's a game I never do well at because I'm like, just one more time I roll the dice, okay? And that can happen in this game. And I don't mind that. That's light and fun. This game decides to take it a step further. In fact, we weren't sure when we first saw this. Z-Man games, they don't make Farkle. Is this about the actual Farkle, or is it something else? But it is. It's a Farkle variant that Z-Man made, which is kind of odd. Now, this adds the special powers. And that's interesting, the different special powers, like the one I showed you, where you can ignore the dragon ones. Well, that's pretty cool. The magical items, sometimes you can mess somebody else over. That one I showed you where you can turn the face to a dragon on someone else's turn. They roll a fantastic turn. You're like, yeah, that's a dragon. You get nothing. That's it's hilarious. But basically that's what this adds. And this adds the ability to go head to head with another person and then fight the dragon itself, which is a little bit of a luck fest, but so you want to build up a big store of soldiers you can go in there and fight and roll dice. The game is fine. I like it. It's not great, and again, it seems really out of character for this to do, but you have to realize this is essentially Farkle with special cards. There's actually quite a bit of text on the cards. Special abilities, different things that you can do, and the ability to go after each other. Instead of points, you're collecting tokens, which are soldiers, which are actually really points. So I like the game. It's good for a lark. It's nothing that I would want to play many, many times. It was entertaining. I don't know that it's going to get a big reaction from anybody. But if you know someone who likes Farkle and they want it more, or you just want to sit down and play a simple push your luck game, although it's a little more than simple. And that's probably the one flaw in this particular game, is that Farkle's so simple where these special cards and things actually necessary. But if you do want that, then this is a pretty good combo for that. Besides, you can laugh when you say the name. Anyhow, that's Dragon Farkle. Dice Tower Judgment, approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
There.